going to share 5 tips with you to increase hold for a longer lasting style so that you can spend less time fussing with your hair and refreshing. I'm Delilah and I help people with curly hair like you get better at caring for and styling their hair. Getting stronger hold is actually a really important topic that isn't discussed a lot, and some people don't even realize they need it. If you're struggling with refreshing your hair, it's not lasting, your style's not lasting very long, you feel like you're always having to touch it up, or you style your hair and the definition doesn't really last, then increasing the hold is really going to help with all of these problems. So I'm going to share 5 tips with you to get longer lasting results, and if you stay to the end, I'll share with you one amazing way to get more definition. And actually, one quick note, I used some of these tips yesterday because it was raining outside and I styled my hair, and I knew that if I didn't increase the hold and really work on getting that definition and hold on wash day, my hair was not going to last 5 minutes. I had to leave the house later in the day. I got rained on, and as you can see, look at how my hair is now. It doesn't look exactly like it did when I finished styling, but it's good enough that I didn't have to do anything to it this morning, and I love any way that I can save time and just spend less time fussing on my hair. The first thing that you can try is styling on damp hair instead of wet hair. And the best way to do this is to just squeeze out a little bit more water than you normally do, or you can try very quickly micro plopping, which is when you get your hair towel and you scrunch the hair up and squeeze or press it against your scalp to get out a little bit more water than you typically do. And why this works is because the more moisture and water you have in your hair, the less hold your products are going to have, because they're going to be a little bit more diluted, and the moisture is going to work against the hold ingredients in your styling products. So if you remove some of that water, you end up getting a stronger cast and you end up getting better hold. The second thing you can try is adding a hairspray. The best way to do this is once you have finished styling your hair, like you've added all your products, you have scrunched in, you're like done. At this point, spray in a little bit of hairspray. And we all remember hairspray from back in the day. We know that it's really good with hold. It can be a little bit drying, so that's why you should definitely use it at the end. And it won't work for all hair types. If your hair is really dry, then hairspray may not work for you. But for most people, this is gonna be a really good, quick way to increase the hold of your styling product. Now, one bonus tip that kind of ties in with what I just mentioned is layering your products. So the more you layer products, the more hold you're gonna get. It's also gonna give you more definition, but that does come at a cost with less volume and possibly that kind of icky producty feeling depending on how much product you're using. So be careful. You can definitely layer products. I would consider layering products with more hold, like gel with hairspray, versus doing like leave-in, cream, mousse, gel, and just kind of going crazy with everything. Remember, the less moisture there is in a product, the more hold it's probably going to have. And that ties in with tip number 3, which is to use a lighter leave-in if you're using some sort of leave-in product before applying your styling products. So if you're using a leave-in conditioner or a curl cream, then try to go for something a little lighter. And what that means is something that is thinner in consistency, a little runnier, maybe comes in like a spray form that's gonna be really lightweight, and you're gonna wanna use less of it and focus more on like the ends of your hair. And so that less moisture, as I mentioned before, is gonna lead to better hold. If you're using styling products with hold, you have to still layer styling products with hold on top of that. The 4th tip is to diffuse, and this may be a little bit surprising, but diffusing does result in a longer lasting style. And that's because it locks in the hair, the style, and the products much earlier than if you're air drying. When you're air drying, you typically fuss with your hair a little bit. You might touch it, it stays wet for a couple of hours, that stretches it out a little bit, it interacts with the environment. So whereas when you're diffusing, it's typically 30 minutes or less for most people. That will lock everything in right then and there, and it activates the ingredients in your styling product, which air drying simply does not do. So if you are one of those people that just can't stand diffusing, or it takes you like an hour to diffuse, my recommendation is to air dry for 5 to 10 minutes until you start to get like a little cast on the ends, if you do get a cast, and then diffuse for, I would try to diffuse for like 5 to 15 minutes. at the most, like as long as you possibly can. You don't have to diffuse all the way to 100% dry, but I would diffuse to speed up that process and lock in your style and activate those ingredients in your styling products. And the last tip, number 5, this one's kind of obvious, but use a hard hold gel. A hard hold gel is really the best way to get the most hold in your style. There's nothing that holds stronger than a hard hold gel. And there's some key ingredients you can look for. Typically hard hold gels, they will say on the packaging on the front that they are a strong or hard hold product, but you can look at the ingredients and you can find if they have polyquats, polymers, or film forming humectants in them like aloe. Then those kind of all work together to provide more hold. So the more polyquats and polymers you see in a product, the more hold the product is gonna have. So what else do you need to get those long-lasting defined curls that you want? If you really want to make sure that you've got defined curls, then watch this video next. It's called Squish to Condition Guide, and you'll learn how to get frizz-free curl clumps so that you can style your hair with more definition. Then you just use these 5 tips I just taught you to increase the hold, and you'll have a long-lasting frizz-free style. Click on the video you see on the screen and I'll see you there.